Hey yo, what's going on? Welcome back to Demon Souls. I don't even really know where I left off here because it's been a little bit since the last time I posted a Demon Souls video. So I'm doing something a little different this time. I'm actually recording a brand new commentary track for this in the present day. Right now I'm holding up a newspaper that says January 19th, 2021. So if you don't believe me, there you go. You're just gonna have to take my word for it that I'm holding up that newspaper, but it is the present right now. My previous Demon Souls videos were all recorded in the past. They were recorded like back when I played it, which was a while ago now. I played the PS3 version. So my commentary was actually a little bit out of date as far as this game goes, and I just wanted to record something a little more up to date, a little newer. So that's what I'm doing. And this way I can answer some questions that you may have that are reflective of the present day. For example, why am I not playing the PS5 remake? We've got a beautiful PS5 remake right now, and obviously I've got the PS3 version here instead. Well, the reason for that is very simple. I recorded these videos before the remake was out, and I recorded them on the original PS3 version because I want it to be like as authentic as possible to the original incarnation of this game, which it's the OG Souls game, and yeah, I just wanted to get that authenticity, kind of capture everything that this game represents. The kind of oppressiveness, the darkness. The remake is wonderful. It's absolutely amazing as a game, but in a lot of ways, I feel like the PS3 original has a lot that the remake does not have. It's just got a different feeling to it, and it's very unique. It's just oppressive and scary. It's a scary game. It's a good game to play on Halloween kind of thing. Whereas the remake is kind of brightly lit and everything's a little bit shinier, glossier, prettier. It's a little different. And yeah, I just wanted to capture the authenticity of the original PS3 version. Plus, I already had the videos recorded from the playthrough many months ago, and I didn't really want to re-record it for the PS5 version when I felt like I already had a perfectly good recording of the PS3 version. So I decided to go with this one. And yeah, so for the last few videos of this game, I'm going to be re-recording the commentary track, giving it something new, and that way I can actually get into the remake a little bit, and like my thoughts on the remake, and I can also talk about politics for the next hour. Make everybody totally miserable. half of my listeners will immediately tune out, and then 5 minutes later the other half will tune out. But depending on which way you swing politically, I will find a way to annoy everybody, because I am one of those dreaded centrists that you hear about. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to talk about politics here. I'm going to talk about the Souls series, and there's quite a bit to talk about with this particular series. It's a fascinating series. It's one of the most oppressive, moody game series that I've ever played. And I mean, yeah, these games are a little bit on the difficult side, but it's just a little bit. I've played much harder games than these games. Like playing the God of War series on anything besides like easy mode for me. If I try to play like God of War 3 on hard mode, which I think I had to do for trophies when I was getting the platinum in the God of War series, that was way harder than any Souls game. Souls games are all about just preparation. Making sure your character's built right, making sure you've got the right weapon, things like that, the right elemental resistances, and just really thinking before you act. You just have to plan out your strategy and your tactics. As long as you plan things out in advance, It's not so bad. And as far as the Souls series goes, Demon Souls here is probably the easiest out of all of them. And the PS5 remake is even easier than the original version. So it's actually a really good starting point for people new to the Souls series, would be the PS5 remake of this game. It is absolutely the easiest that the series gets, in my opinion anyway. So yeah, Demon Souls. It's a great game. Right now, to kind of pick up the commentary with what's actually happening, right now I'm in the Tower of Latria. Definitely one of the most interesting areas in the game. So I'm not sure what I'm doing here. I'm just kind of standing around. You know, I was probably, if I had to guess, I was probably checking a walkthrough at this point, because this particular area can be very confusing. It's a little bit of a maze, just for sure. You have to find these two particular areas where there's like a fire pot with a bunch of revelers around it, and you have to break the chain at those two particular areas, and then that's how you proceed through the level. Once you break the chains, this giant heart will fall out of the sky and crash through the bottom of the level. And once the giant heart falls out of the sky, I hope everyone's getting all this. Once the giant heart falls out of the sky, it will remove all of its kind of tentacles from the level, which will allow you to proceed to the boss. Yeah, it's a strange game. Very strange. Strange series. This whole series is absolutely bizarre. Oh, no, didn't die. For a second there, I thought I was dead meat. Yeah, this is a weird series. You know what this series actually reminds me of? It reminds me of The Never-Ending Story. And I'm talking about the first movie. I didn't see any of the later movies. Don't know anything about them. I mean, I saw like 5 minutes of one of the later Never-Ending Stories, and I remember Atreyu kind of acting like a douche to people. That was weird, so I kind of turned it off. Didn't really like how he was acting. Or maybe Bastion was acting like a douche. I don't know. One of them was. Anyway, the original Never-Ending Story is an absolute classic, but it's very dark. I mean, there are some scenes in that movie that are like really hard to watch. But something about the mood of that movie and the vibe, and I don't know. The Souls series just really brings me back to that movie for some reason, and I can't even really place why exactly. It's just got that same kind of like sense of struggle and darkness, and kind of not really having anything on your side, you know, because the character in that movie really has to persevere through all kinds of things without any real allies for a lot of it, you know. I don't know. There's more to it than that. They're like, let's see. There are bogs in this whole series, swamps, bogs, things like that are just like hopeless places, and they remind me of the bogs in the movie that the hero had to kind of trudge through, kind of like what I'm doing right now in the game. You know, just trudging through these muddy, ugly places. You know, I don't know. I hope I'm making some sense as far as, you know, why this reminds me of the Never-Ending Story a little bit. The whole series kind of does. And, you know, the first Souls game I ever played was actually Bloodborne, which I do count as a Souls game. I don't count Sekiro as a Souls game, though. It's more of a Ninja Gaiden, in my opinion. But Bloodborne, definitely a Souls game. They might as well have called it Dark Souls 2.5, you know, when it came out. It does play differently, though. It's much quicker, much faster paced, but it's got all the Souls hallmarks. And that is my favorite Souls game, is Bloodborne. I've noticed that most people, when they rank their favorite Souls games, they always put the one that they played first at number 1. And I am no different. I would definitely place Bloodborne at number 1. So, what about the other ones? Wow. I'm going to have to think about that one for a sec. Hold on a sec. We got a cat here. What you doing, buddy? Here, say hello. Say hello to the cat. Yeah, all right, that's enough. Let's see. What was I gonna talk about? Oh yeah, my favorite Souls games. You know, that's a tough thing. It's a real tough thing to try to rank your favorite Souls games. You know, from best to worst kind of thing. Um, I have not played Dark Souls 3, but I will someday. I haven't played Neo 2, which, I mean, you can count those as Souls games if you wanted to. Oh man, I hate these things. See this thing, this like Mind Flayer right here? These things are so overpowered in this game. And if they're red, like red phantoms like that one, that's even worse. Because red phantoms are generally overpowered in this game. So you take an already overpowered enemy like the Mind Flayer and give them overpowered red phantomness, and it's just a disaster. So you gotta watch out for those guys. Problem is, this particular level kind of boxes you in and makes you fight several of them. I think there are like 3 or so that are basically unavoidable that you have to fight, like Fight Club. So that's not so fun. But other than that, for the most part, I just kind of run through this level. You know, I beeline through it as quick as I can. Just try to get to the bosses. The bosses of this level are the man-eaters, and these 2 big gargoyle guys. They're quite nasty. They are probably the toughest boss fight in the game outside of the final boss and Flame Lurker. Like, those 3 bosses are absolutely head and shoulders above all the other bosses in the game as far as difficulty goes. Basically every other boss, once you get the pattern down or whatever else, you know, bring the right tools, pretty much every boss in this game is easily defeated once you know what you're doing. But those 3 fights, you know, no matter what, they could give you a tough time. Final boss is just, you know, overpowered. He has high stats, you know. Once you know his patterns, though, it's really not that bad. Flame Lurker, I mean, I've played this game probably 5 or 6 times all the way through now, and I still have trouble with Flame Lurker, and I don't know why. I just find his patterns to be completely erratic. It's just really hard to stay out of his way and even have time to hit back. It's just a real dastardly foe. And then you have the man-eaters at the end of this level. I don't think they're as bad as the Flame Lurker, because they have pretty low HP as far as bosses go. But the area where you fight them is incredibly dangerous. It's this little bridge with no guardrails. It's very easy to get knocked off and immediately lose the fight. So here's the giant heart that I mentioned. You know, I've broken the second chain, so the giant heart is going to fall and completely change the layout of the level. So now there are several new parts of the level that are reachable that weren't reachable before. So that's cool. So anyway, where was I? Let's see, favorite Souls games. Okay, like I said, never played Neo, never played Neo 2, never played Souls 3. So out of the ones I have played, which is Souls 1, Souls 2, Bloodborne, Demon Souls, Salt and Sanctuary, if you want to count it. I mean, it's a 2-dimensional kind of Souls type game. There's a lot of those that are really good. You know, Hollow Knight's another one. I'm not going to count that one though. Let's see, Souls 1, Souls 2, Demons, Bloodborne, those 4. From worst to best, I would say Dark Souls 2 is indisputably, for me anyway, the worst of the Souls series. I don't think I really had very much fun at all with Souls 2, but I really did enjoy the setting. It has this kind of ancient Greek looking setting, and with ruins, and there are some really impressive vistas, like sunsets and things like that. And the graphics are tremendous too. If you play like the PS4 remake, Oh man, tremendous visuals. 60 frames per second. This is one of the few games where I can really tell the difference between like 30 FPS and 60 FPS, because it is absolutely outstanding. In 60 FPS, everything is just so smooth, and combat especially so smooth. So there's a lot of things about the Souls 2 remake that I like, but as far as like the game design goes, the game itself, I don't know, it's not up to the par of the earlier Souls games as far as world design goes. You know, the other Souls games have like the most cohesive world design that you'll probably find anywhere outside of like a Metroid game or a Zelda game. You know what I mean? Like everything fits into everything else, everything has a purpose. You know, you get a new ability, it's like there are plenty of places where you can use it that'll unlock new things that you didn't have access to before. I mean, really, it all makes perfect sense. But Souls 2, for some reason, Souls 2 just doesn't have that perfect world design that the others have. There are a lot of things that don't make a whole lot of sense. There are frustrating parts that are just like unnecessarily frustrating. Things like that. So I have to give Dark Souls 2 by far the title of worst Souls game for me anyway. It's still good, just the worst of the group. And it's unfortunate too, because there's some really cool stuff in Souls 2. The DLCs are probably the biggest DLCs in the entire series. I mean, they put a ton of effort into the DLCs. There's 3 of them instead of the usual 1. You know, most of these games get 1 DLC and that's it. Souls 2 had 3 entire DLCs, and these were big DLCs with like entire multiple areas to explore. So that's really cool. So anyway, Souls 2, there you go. My least favorite Souls game. What about the other 3? How do they stack up? Well, I'm going to think about that for a second while I watch this boss fight that's coming up here. This boss fight with the Man-Eaters, who I mentioned before. Very tough boss. The only real saving grace on this fight is that they have such low HP, so you really just have to blitz them. I'm going to play some special music for this too, so let's just have a listen. So those were the smooth sounds of Ease 7. That's Wise 7, Ease 7. Not real sure how to pronounce that, but I think it's pronounced Ease. For the PSP, that was the boss theme, or one of the boss themes anyway, for a very cool game. Anyway, I thought it would fit for that particular fight, and it turns out it does. It fits pretty well. Now, most of the other music that I've been using in these videos has been from Vagrant Story. And Vagrant Story's soundtrack is absolutely perfect for the Souls series. A series that, for the most part, doesn't really have any music. What is it, buddy? I'm recording. What's up? Not a lot of music in this series. Now, I used to think that this series desperately needed music, but at this point, I appreciate it for what it is. You know, sometimes it's better to have silence. Sometimes it's better to just let the game breathe, if you will. And I totally understand now why these games don't have music. And in some cases, I can't really imagine them actually having music. But that doesn't mean I can't put some Vagrant Story music over Demon Souls because it fits so well. So these are those phantom mind flayers I was talking about before. You cannot avoid these guys. I mean, not really. Maybe if you're like a pro, but you have like no room to dodge them. Pretty much have to fight, and they are quite mean. Even for me in this game where I'm like really over leveled, as you can see, they still do a ton of damage. It's ridiculous. Anyway, got a few minutes left here, so I'm going to very quickly finish my list. So my second least favorite of the Souls games I've played, number 3 on this countdown, is Demon Souls, this very game. It is a hit for a reason. It is a very interesting game, very unique, first of its kind really. But that also means that it's very rough around the edges. There's a lot of room for improvement with this game, a lot of really cool concepts that haven't been fleshed out yet, as I just died to the Phantom Mind Flayer. Yeah, these guys are so overpowered, it is absolutely ridiculous. But anyway, yeah, there's some really rough around the edges design choices about this game. It is not new player friendly at all. Even though it's probably the easiest out of all the Souls games, it might be the least friendly to a new player getting into the series, unless they know what they're doing. If they've been told beforehand about what to watch out for, not so bad. But if you're going in blind, just like no help, don't know what you're getting into, there are game mechanics in this game that will absolutely punish you for just not knowing things in advance. There are things that I would call straight up unfair about this game. So that's really the issue with Demon Souls. And the reason I wouldn't rank it higher. Doesn't mean it's a bad game by any means. And I would rather play this than play... what, buddy? Get out of here. I would rather play this than play Souls 2, personally. But anyway, top 2 games on my list. Original Dark Souls, number 2. And I find that the original Dark Souls has the most impeccable level design in the entire series, including Bloodborne. Just absolutely perfect, pitch perfect level design, world design, however you want to put it. Everything just fits together absolutely seamlessly in Dark Souls. And it improves greatly on a lot of the things that Demon Souls needed improvement on. So I'll put that at number 2. And then at number 1, I'm going to put Bloodborne, which is just a fantastic game. I like that it has a faster pace than the rest of the Souls series, and that faster pace is why I would put it at number 1. It is a game where every single weapon has all kinds of interesting uses and tricks, and there is so much depth to the game. Just depth upon depth upon depth. Absolutely Bloodborne, number 1. So yeah, that's my ranking of the Souls series, which for whatever reason I just wanted to throw into this video while I was narrating. So now we have one of the more interesting bosses in the game. This is the Old Monk, which this is interesting. It's actually controlled by another player, unless you're disconnected from the internet. If you're disconnected from the internet, it is not controlled by another player. It's controlled by the computer, and it's pretty easy to beat at that point. But if you are connected to the internet, it will actually matchmake you with another player who's doing PvP, and they will take control of the boss for the duration of the fight. And this can actually make the fight very difficult. You know, if you're matched up with a player who's super good at Demon Souls, then there's a pretty good chance that this boss is going to kick your ass. Or you could be matched with someone who has no clue what they're doing, and it'll be a super easy fight. You know, like I said, if you end up not getting matched with a player, and you fight the CPU, that's one of the easier bosses in that case. So let's see what we end up with in this playthrough, because I don't remember. And this is going to be a surprise to me as well as you. Looks good. I'm just basically stun locking him. I can't tell if this is a player or the CPU, but it looks like the CPU. Most players do not rush at you like this, like just head on, you know, barreling into the player. You know, most actual people will be evasive. They'll stay back. You know what I mean? So yeah, this guy just ran right in and got killed. So I would say that was definitely a CPU fight. Well, good stuff. That concludes another episode of Demon Souls. I think we've got about 2 left for my delightfully overpowered run. So I'll see you next time for the rest of this game.